time to go. Let's get this show on the road. Introductions. I think we know one another pretty much, and we can read our names, which is a very nice feature. I like having that. But the ones we really need to introduce, I think, are Missy and me, and about what we're up to here. I'm from Emory, and I'm a retired dermatologist, and I've been with the Emeritus College since 2005, when I moved back from New Mexico, my first retirement, and came back. And Missy, you can introduce yourself as well.
I'm retired from Georgia State. I've worked with the Georgia State Emeriti Association and with the University System Retiree Council.
Okay.
And I love looking at all of these pictures of people I've seen for a long time.
It's nice. It is. And we do go a ways back. And even the last meeting I was at, I recognized people. So I've come to some Georgia Hero meetings, I think, since 2016 or so. And the other thing is I've been to Arohi meetings, and of course Emory put on that Arohi meeting, and I think that's really our big asset, that we're the pipeline between Arohi and our institutions, and that's how we know not only do we do best practices, but we find out more about how to do them, and that's very valuable. The contact list. Thank you for your information, and let me say why we want your phone number and your address. Is there may be times we're interested in travel that we might want to send you something through the mail that has already been printed, and the other thing is that we need your phone number, because we're at distance. And there are times when people you care about that are coming to a meeting are on the road, and you may need to reach them. You may want to know if something's happened. Are they okay? They're not here yet. And this is what I'm talking about, succession. You may get in trouble. And so it's better to know where you are or be able to reach you if we can. Meeting dates that I've been able to ascertain were twice a year, right? Usually November and a spring meeting. And there have been executive meetings at occasionally once a year or so, looking back at the minutes, sometimes more, especially if there were planning sessions. But we want some immediate answers. I speak for Missy too. Is we're trying to plan this a meeting that is a travel meeting, and I'll let her talk about that. But we really want input from you, from some more people. We don't just want to think it up ourselves, and just to be complete in following the agenda. Hey, there's Harry. Hi. And just to be sure we've got everything in a row, our ducks in a row, there is an Arohi virtual summit. Our time period for it is from 12 to 3:30 on the 22nd. I registered for it, and they're going to have the usual speakers. It's kind of a little mini meeting to get us back, I think, on schedule of every 2 years, since we had that virtual meeting last time. And just to remind you that that's coming up, and you may need to register for it. So we have some initiatives that is the way we're looking at it. We're going to talk about meetups. We're going to talk about membership, and we're going to discuss, can you roll it up? Oh, I don't have here. I can make it full screen. And we're going to talk about some programming on what people might want to hear. And who knows? That's what we're going to ask you about. And we have some ideas. So starting with the meetups, and now we can scroll to the next page, Carol, and there we go. Over to you, Missy.
Okay, this is looking at a way that we might be able to engage a few more people than we have in the past. I've gone through several organizations, including Arohi, to look at some of the kinds of meetings that have attracted more people, and meetups would be one of those. In a meetup, you agree on a place to go, and you look at things that are there for you to do, and you plan time for people to be together, to get to know each other, and to become more engaged and involved. I have queried several of our members about places or events that would be good to look at in their areas, because we've typically tried to meet in an area that would be about in the center of the state, but that means that everybody is driving usually somewhere between 2 and 4 hours. You drive, you have a meeting for about an hour and a half or 2 hours, eat lunch, and then you drive back home. A meetup would be a little bit different in that you would drive to get there, but you would have several things that you could do, kind of like a mini vacation. And you might choose to come in the day early and not have the 4-hour drive, lunch, and a 4-hour drive back. You might choose to stay a day later and enjoy some of the other things that are there. I tried to look at places around Georgia, and the one that stood out as a beginning was Cartersville. And you each have an example sheet for what this would be. So I'm going to go over this just very, very quickly. I know Cartersville is not in the center of the state, but it is an interesting center because it is facing the mountains for people who want to hike and who are interested in looking at that area of the state. They have a lot of hiking trails that go all the way from very, very, very beginner in their downtown area to much more advanced. They also are close to Atlanta. So if your joy is doing things in the city, you can come to the meeting and stay overnight and plan to do some things in the city after you've been in Cartersville. I've talked to the people at the Visitors and Conventions Bureau at Cartersville because, of course, they know more about the area than I would. What stood out to me when I started looking were the hikes and the mountains, but also they are the smallest area in the entire country that host 3 of the Smithsonian affiliate museums, which is different from what you see other places. So they have the Booth Western Art Museum, the Savoy Automobile Museum, which is brand new, and the Telus Science Museum. So different kinds of museums for different interests. Also, in that first week in November, they began their holiday festivities. So if we were to have our meeting on Thursday, November 3rd, if you stayed over, you would have free admission to their holiday festivities. And on Thursday, they open their city, and the various stores and restaurants have different kinds of free things and special things when you walk up and down their streets. I think they're anxious to have us because we come from all over the state, and I don't think they really see themselves attracting people from San Francisco. I think they see themselves as a place that someone from Georgia might come for a weekend, for example. So I have 2 big questions for you. One is, do you like the meetup concept? That would be going someplace, having some things to do beyond our meeting, having a pleasant place to have a meeting, and then letting people know what else might be available for them to do. That's one question. The second question is, if you like the concept of a meetup, are you interested in the Cartersville one that would be early November?
Hush, hush.
So, Marilyn, would you open the discussion for whether a meetup is a good idea?
Absolutely. Comments about the idea of a meetup? Yes, Holly. Oh, were you just stretching? Can't make a move without Eagle Eye seeing you here. Sorry. And I can't see everybody either.
Would it be possible to have a hybrid kind of meeting where people who can't make it can also virtually attend?
I'm going to answer part of that. We've talked about having our regular meetings as virtual meetings during the year. So, you know, we're looking at having a virtual series of meetings. So this would be in addition to that. In some places, we might have the facility to do the lunch meeting as virtual, but I can't guarantee that.
We can't guarantee this one. And one of the, actually, we want to keep on Cartersville, but one of the concerns that we always have is where to have the meeting, and is there a university that we're affiliated with or that we'd like to give more information to in that area. There is one actually in Cartersville, which we did not contact as of yet to see, but we wanted to assess your interest in Cartersville. The Booth Museum, I got to tell you, is fabulous.
Not a business meeting, but more of a social meeting.
It's a question. It's an social for the directors. What is said here is important to us. We're interested in your opinions because of the depth of experience you have with the organization and the members that you represent.
So it might be called a retreat, you know, once a year, like a retreat type thing.
Let me answer that, Mary Lynn.
Okay.
I don't see this quite as a retreat because we're really hoping to engage more of our membership, not just our directors and not just officers, but to bring more people out to get to know each other and to be able to grow a little bit. I mean, if you look at the last 10 years, you see the same names and faces for the most part. So we would like to have something that is maybe a little bit special, not expensive, but we can't cover cost. And we really, really don't want to try to collect money from people. So we're saying, you know, this is a pay as you go. So if you want to go to the Booth Museum and you don't want to go to Tellus, then you go to Booth and you don't go to Tellus. But we do have good prices, and we do have some people who want to help us do it.
It's been talked about at some institutions that the retirees are interested in travel. They would like to go somewhere and field trips or what have you. And this is a way of us, I suppose, sponsoring it, but having traveling with retirees, academic retirees, of which we like to think of ourselves as a representative organization.
One thing for me, just personally, that at this time, this is not something that my husband and I could do, but there are people in our retiree organization, I think, who would love to do this.
Well, oddly enough, one of the pluses is not that we're getting a bus for everybody to ride in. You get to stay in your bubble with whoever you want to drive to this, and you can wear your mask if you're worried. And I think things are opening up, but that's just another aspect of it. That's why it's back to the world.
Mm-hmm.
Other hands. I can only see 6 people on screen. So if you want to put your hand up, you can go to the reactions at the base and click on that. And there is a raise hand bar. You don't want to just put that hand up. It says raise hand, and you can do that. And then you'll move to the top of the list and I'll see you. Not that, not that page. It's starting with the green share screen that you see at the bottom. It's the controls for Zoom.
Mary Lynn?
Yes.
This is Dorothy Zinsmeister.
Hi, Dorothy.
How are you?
Good.
I am looking at my screen and I have none of those buttons. I can only see 4 people, not 6, and one of them is me.
Well, yeah.
So you know you're here.
You
I can hear
are,
you, Dorothy, you know you're here.
Yes,
Uh,
I can hear you and I can, and I can see you when you speak. But,
Uh-huh.
but one of the things that I can't do is I see none of those controls to,
put your pointer down toward them. Sometimes they'll show up if you actually move over it.
I have no,
You have no pointer on screen?
no. And then let's not worry about my technology.
Okay.
Let me say.
As soon as you
one-
talk, we'll see you. Okay.
Okay, so let me ask a question. Are we interested in getting more people participating, or are we interested in engaging a larger number of institutions?
Oh, membership is separate. That's another topic. But yes, we could always invite somebody from another institution to come with us.
No, I think what Dorothy is asking is, are we looking for additional institutions to join Georgia Hero?
That's
Yes.
what I'm asking.
Yes.
That's what I was answering, I thought. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. And because I will say, and I don't know whether Carol wants to chime in on this, but the location of Kennesaw is such that we go to these locations all the time on field trips with our retiree organization. So we've gone to the booth more than once. We've gone to Tellus. We've gone to the Savoy. So I'm not sure that there will be very many from Kennesaw that will go, but they may, just because they want to learn more about Georgia Hero.
And it's Christmas.
And it's Christmas. That's right.
There's the Christmas aspect of it, which is kind of a nice thing with it.
And the idea here is not for us to go to 3 different museums in one day, is it?
No,
Okay.
But you could.
choose, but
You
you
could.
could.
But you
Yeah.
could.
But Dorothy,
You would be hard pressed to do Tellus in an hour and 15 minutes,
yeah,
but you could.
I don't think we're
Right.
thinking about doing the guided tours like we did, where we had somebody telling us about everything. I think this is just a do-it-yourself kind of thing.
Right.
And yes, it does take more than an hour to go through any of those, just to walk through.
Oh,
them.
yeah.
They're
Yeah.
big. I think unless we all go back and sort of survey our membership and see who would come and who would be interested, I think we're just going to have to try it and see what happens.
Get it up on the website.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a we have a monthly newsletter that we can send out. Works well.
Yeah, ours went out today. We have it every 2 weeks, so we'll reach out. Emory is having its 20th anniversary celebration of our Emeritus College the day after, but it's at 3:00. And I want to go and spend the night and come back and go to that ceremony. I like the idea of having a place to stay so I don't have to drive at night.
Yeah.
And that you can have a nice dinner somewhere and have a few drinks and stay at the Hampton Inn for under $100. Man, be sleeping in your car. That's a good deal. Yeah. Other thoughts?
I like the idea. I think it's good.
Missy,
Other associations do that.
other associations do.
Mhm.
I started thinking, kind of really wild stuff like saying, what if we went to a college someplace, one of the colleges, and the biology professor at that college told us about something, took us to an interesting place or something or other. And maybe the other biologists in Georgia Hero would think that would be cool to do, that this is a well-known person. It's been mentioned that hobby groups might be kind of fun, and it would be nice to reach out to other retirees in our own specialties. Just saying that could be a way to meet people. Missy, where else have we talked about going?
Savannah, and the Golden Isles. We've looked at Bacon, at Columbus, at Valdosta,
Dahlonega.
Dahlonega. There are
And-
a lot of places in Georgia. And when you're looking at something that is essentially a day trip that someone could convert into a longer trip if they choose, you know, I think it's more doable than if you've planned a long weekend that everybody would be going to everything in lockstep. But I need to know from the group whether you would like for me to follow up with Cartersville for this one, or whether you would like to continue thinking about it later.
Well, I like the idea. My schedule is such I can't go to this because I'm out of town at that time, but it's a good idea. I like it.
Mhm.
I think Cartersville is a good place.
I think it's a good idea, but it's about a 500-mile round trip from us down here to Valdosta,
Oh, I know. I grew
which
up
means
on
it's not a day trip.
Mhm.
And if we had something here at Valdosta, it wouldn't be just a little short trip for most of you in the Atlanta area either.
I know.
But if we got to know each other well, then we'd realize how charming you are down there. And,
Oh, we are.
and why we want to go. You know, there's that. Ed. Rondo,
Yes,
you're
yes.
here. Bless your heart. I wasn't sure that you ever got my message. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, you just didn't want to answer. Okay.
No, it's been terrible time for me. So busy. So
Okay, but if I've got your correct information, and you can
Yes,
tell
you
me
do.
what
do.
days are good for you to meet.
No,
I'm
what you
gonna
had
say-
is fine. That's fine.
I'm going to say you can meet anytime because you showed up just out of the blue. So I know you're good. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Then we're only missing Dutchie. So you said the first thing was, should we go ahead with it, Missy? Is anybody really against it? Does anybody think that this is something that's just going to ruin the organization in some way?
No.
Okay.
No.
Can you talk it up to some people, and
Oh, yeah.
do you think you could
Sure.
get 2 couples worth to maybe go? If everybody gets 2 couples, we got it made.
Well,
I'll bring it.
it's much easier for those of us around Atlanta. It's going to be harder for the distances, which is why we really should look at doing one end of the state one time and then the other end of the state the next
Yes.
time. And yeah, so
We
because
agree.
everybody's not going to be able to come to everything, but we're
Right.
not investing any money in this. So if
Right.
we get 3 people to respond, we can meet 3 people or we can cancel.
Okay.
I'll say try, at least try it and let's see what happens.
As astounding as it seems, there are people who don't want to come to Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
Amen.
Well, we have retirees who have left Atlanta. So
Yes. But I think we should take advantage of the Zoom now that people are used to using. We're so much more clever than we were in 2013 at computerized stuff. And this, to have it be an organized outing when we haven't been able to go out for so long, I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah.
I will follow up and be back in touch. Thank you for your time.
Missy,
Okay.
this is Mr. Clifton. I want to make some comments. You mentioned that the cost for the Marriott in Cartersville would be $25 per person on attendance, about 20 people. Does that mean that 20 is the minimum attendance we need for this conference?
Well, let me back that up a little bit. If we have fewer than 20 people, then we really need to decide whether we need a special room somewhere. Because if we have fewer than 20, we probably don't need a special room. I'm going to, if the group decides that to follow through, I'm going to try to contact Ken Weatherman to see if we might be able to use Highlands facilities in Cartersville, because they have a facility right across the street from the Marriott. And if we can use their facility chances are pretty good that the only thing that we would have to do is pay for lunch, which would be more in the range of around $15.
Right.
So, you know, the $25 is really the bare minimum for getting a box lunch with room that is a commercial establishment.
Ellis was going to charge us $700 for a
For the
room.
room,
Oh, that'd have to be in the planetarium for that price, for God's sake,
Right, right.
with the new pictures.
yeah, and someone to explain them.
Exactly.
Does the Hampton Inn have a room?
They do, and it was more.
It was more.
Mhm.
And the other thing is location, is to have it close. And there may be, it may be possible, it didn't just say for there to be a van to take people around, but we'll have our cars and we're going to public places. So I don't think parking is going to be so much of an issue. I don't know if the university is going to be as cooperative. Our university charges everything they can.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, the
leg and-
parking places are active, always active, 24 hours a day.
I missed something here. I thought this was a getaway mostly for all the different activities, but now I'm seeing there is lunch and a program.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
is the program?
Well, we'll talk, we can send the accompanying persons off and we can talk about Georgia Hero. We can have a guest speaker.
Oh, okay.
We can talk about other nice places to go or what have you. But the idea is to have a chance for us to get together.
And
So this
as
is
a meetup,
in
this
lieu
is
of our,
mostly social.
this would
Mostly
be one of
social.
our 2 meetings a year then, right?
No. No.
I'm not sure that it will just be 2 meetings. If we go to a Zoom informational meeting, we may be able to have more than 2 meetings a year.
Oh.
And the meetup would be once a year, probably at most.
But we might have it at different times of the year, depending on seasons and what's nice where
Yeah. And what's available.
and what's available. Yeah. I don't think when we started out doing this, and we thought, well, let's do it once and learn. And then we'll see where we go from there. If it's easy and people like it, then we could do it more often.
I would like to mention, and I think many have been to the Aroe meeting, but I thought Sue Barnes said it at the 2018 Aroe meeting. People, may quit associations, but not people. It's the ties that they had. And I thought that was insightful I think this is a great way to build better ties, even though not all the people attend can be all the board meetings, there'll be other people, but just let's experiment and see how we can start to cement the group together more. Make it easier for people, make it more pleasurable. So this sounds like an excellent way to get started.
You've done some really good research, Missy. I want to compliment you on that.
Boy, no kidding.
Mm.
I wouldn't even know how to call the Chamber of Commerce. This is not my forte. This is great. Yeah, she has really spent the time on it.
How many of you were a Girl Scout leader for 13 years?
Oh, I was, yes.
Well, I had the medical students for 18, so I think. So there's that. Okay.
I would like to ask a question.
Sure.
If we don't get 20 people to come, we get fewer than that. Does the Marriott have a nice bar?
Yes, they do.
And that's better yet. Yeah.
And Dorothy, I
Yes.
understand that the after our meetings kind of would come to a close on November 3rd, which means the museums close at 5 o'clock. The street will be open for a kind of Christmas beginning festivity which,
Festival,
as
yeah.
they explained it to me, was a lot like an extended Oktoberfest.
Ah, okay.
So it's a celebratory time for the town too, which is before all the real Christmas stuff takes place. And they're eager to have us. They're going to give us free admission. That's $5 we save right there. So it sounds like they're getting excited about us. The price has gone down. Missy's done some negotiating here. We've had to walk away a time or two, just saying, and come back twice walk away. I don't think this is going to work for us. No, we can't afford that. We're just country.
retired.
We're country
retired.
fixed
Yeah.
income.
Nothing else, Dorothy, if nothing else, we can have tea.
Right.
Anyway, I think it will be fun. I'm going to be there.
Okay.
And
Okay, one of the things that we will need seriously is I will be sending something out to people likely the beginning of next week. And we will need you to be able to send it out to your members. We don't have a list.
Yeah.
So we will need it sent out.
okay, I'll get,
You can.
and I'll put something together for the Emory newsletter too.
Good.
We've been talking about travel. I mean, I don't see any reason why not. And we're bringing in new retirees, and we've got members who can be members before they retire. And again, this is getting back to what Dave Ewert's been saying all along in the minutes. We've got to engage the younger people, and the better they know us, the more likely they are to want to do something for the Emeritus College. They need to go to the Arohi stuff because it's really exciting. I think I was easily hooked. So, all right.
Our retiree organization is having a meeting on Friday. Would it be okay if Carol and I shared with them the Welcome Back to the World form and sort of give them a heads up on what we're thinking about doing? Would that be
Perfect. Perfect.
Oh, yeah, we wouldn't want it to get around, Dorothy.
We can see if we can talk it up. And I know I know some people are going to ask about spouses. Tell me what your thoughts are on spouses.
I'm bringing mine.
We want.
We want
Yeah.
spouses?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
They
Well,
got to
the
have
spouse is
somebody
the
to
thing to
have
have.
they got to have somebody to have a beer with while we're having our meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's fine. Yeah, sure. That's
we
why
have
I
a
don't
monthly
think it may
program
not.
next week. We have a monthly program next week, so I can share that with them.
Say that
Mhm.
once more, Ed.
We have our monthly program next week,
Oh,
so I
good.
can share that with people.
You all have the sheet that that Mary Lynn sent out to you. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
So feel free to use that information and tell them that it will be firmed up a little bit more later on. But use the information there.
And I think I sent it as a Word document so you can take pieces of it if you want. I mean, I don't think it's a PDF.
We can put this in our newsletter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you would, there needs to be a contact because we need to know about how many think they're coming. Even though this is a meetup and we're not asking for money, I need to have an idea at this point for the room and the lunches. So if you would use my contact information for that.
Did the Hampton Inn want to know? Now they're the cheapos. They're the ones that are under $100. Did they need to have a certain number for that rate?
I think the way that will work is that we will ask them to block those rooms, and we ask for a certain number of rooms to be blocked, and then they'll be released after a certain date.
Okay, but that's all that's needed. It's not,
No,
Oh,
people
money
would
or-
need to make their own reservations.
Right.
We're not doing that. But when
Good.
I get back in touch with the Cartersville people, hopefully this afternoon, I'll ask them to, as a start, to block, what, 10 rooms? Do you think that would be?
oh yeah, plenty, I would think.
Yeah, I would think so too. I don't want to ask for more than we could ever possibly do.
No. And besides, there may be some people that just want to stay at the Marriott, the Courtyard instead. The bar's
So I'll
better.
ask them to block 10 rooms and tell them that I need to know when those rooms would be released
Yes, that's
so
the thing.
that people would know.
I
We
don't
know
think,
this-
Mary Lynn, I
Yeah.
don't think the Hampton Inn has a bar.
That's why I said I'd probably be over at the Marriott. Yeah, just saying.
And here at the mountains, there's always
I know there's a
moonshine.
sudden notice, and several of you have mentioned that this is very short notice, but I just wanted you to know that me and Missy aren't messing around. It's, we're going to see what we can do here. And if it works, great. And if it's not, we have term limits. It's not like we're going to be doing this for forever. Dave, put your hand down. You can push that button again, the reaction one. Yeah.
All right, I'll put my hand down,
I just keep thinking it catches my eye.
lower my hand. There we go.
So Mary
right.
Lynn, how many people are on this call think they would go?
There are 13 people on the call. I would go. I mean, okay, put your hands up again, I guess. Let's do that.
I would go.
Let's see.
Carol,
But just, I'm
You-
just one.
Recognize hand gestures. Oh, here we go. Raise hand. All right. I would go. Carol would go. There's 3. Dorothy.
Dorothy would go. Missy would go. That's 5 rooms right there.
Oh, my husband and I would share. I hate to reveal personal information like that, but
I know you would share.
Well, I'm not getting a room. I live 20 minutes from there.
Okay.
we can stay at Carol's.
Yeah, there you go.
Party at Carol's. Party at Carol's.
Yeah.
Okay, so well, we didn't know that, Carol. That's good to know. All right.
And
Good.
Missy,
My son's lives in Cartersville.
so Missy, what's the deal if we get 30 people? I'm being very optimistic, but that's okay.
Oh, well, we need more rooms. I don't know. I mean, we're doing this on our own. We're not having a guide.
I guess I'm thinking about the room that we're renting for the program. How can it accommodate more than 20 people?
Missy, you there?
I think she went off.
We may have lost Missy. She'll be back. She'll be back.
Okay.
I think we would. Wait. The truck is here to steal our garbage. I'm sorry.
Missy is not showing on the participant list right now, so she must have lost us somehow.
No, she sent me a note that says no internet connection.
Oh,
It's stormy. We live close together, but it's really very cloudy over here. So who knows? It's not perfect in Atlanta. We like to think so, but sometimes trees fall over on the lines. So, okay.
Well, that brings up a good point, because in order to reserve a room or do any of these other things, we need to have a deadline for who's going to come so that you know how many people you need to accommodate,
Right.
how many people might need rooms. So we need to set some kind of deadline, I think.
Yes. This is just the first part of September. It's going to be 2 months from now. 2 months.
Right.
So we've got a lead time to talk it up, which reminds me that if this is going to be, okay, this kind of brings us to meetings, or at least brings me to meetings. Do we want to talk about meetings now? Can we?
No, not
Okay.
quite.
Okay.
I think the deadline is not going to be set by us. It's going to be set by when the hotel needs to know.
Okay.
It's going to be set by when the Marriott needs to know. And so, and I guess whichever one is the closest is what we're going to have to deal with. And Missy, I think, is going to find that out in the next, as part of her
Yes, she
follow-up.
will. She's on top of it. So her power's off.
Yeah.
So it sounds
Wow.
like it's a tree to me. It's got that. It's been raining a lot and the ground's soft and the pines start falling over. Okay. So can I talk about meetings?
Sure.
Okay. Carol, roll me down to the agenda, if you would, please, on the share screen. There we go. And we are going to have at least 2 general meetings via Zoom. But these meetings, the executive meetings, I would really love for us to pick a time like first Wednesday of the month, or something that we know that people can come to. We're only, and I'd like to keep it as an hour or no longer, because that would mean it wouldn't be such a sacrifice to give Georgia Hero 1 hour a month if we could do that on a regular basis so you could plan for it. That was why I sent that around. And so I got things back where people said, well, I can't do it Monday or Tuesday. I go, oh, hi, or Friday, but I didn't offer Friday, and I didn't offer Thursday either. But I will tell you what I thought maybe we'd always have mornings at least, but no, some people don't want mornings. Some people don't want noons. So it looks like afternoon is going to work a little better sometime. But Wednesday's not good for everybody. So you'll be hearing from me some more. And I have got some wiggle room because I gave you hour increments separated from each other. So it may be, if you can't do 10 to 11, maybe you can do 11 to 12. So we'll see. And you'll hear some more, and just try to respond promptly so I don't have to keep bugging you.
So I should not reserve October the 5th for our next meeting,
Yeah, go ahead. What day is that?
the Wednesday.
Yeah,
Wednesday at 2?
Wednesday at 2, but then we got the same old crowd. We got 13 people, which is not bad, 5 of whom are officers. And so we have 8 of 11. Can you get the list? Click on participants, and there's the list of who's here, so I can check people off. Somebody can probably do that for me, but
I'm sure Ann is.
I
because
can
she's
do that.
keeping
What,
minutes.
you need that now, or you need that later?
no, not at all. Not at all. I don't need it.
Oh,
but
okay.
that
Well,
will,
I've got
that,
it.
but you've got the whole list there. And
Yeah.
we've got an awful lot of people. I'm very pleased that you all are cooperative enough to do that. And there are some issues that have come up when I read the minutes, the old minutes, where it's something that can't be decided at that time. It's just, like, do we become a corporation, or how do we do this? What do we do with that? And the meetings are so far apart that it's very hard to get action on something. And if we can talk about an issue once and get it out of the way so we don't have to keep feeling guilty that we haven't finished it, is what I'm after. Oh, Missy's back. She's on her phone. Mildred, I see Mildred Cody's iPhone. Can you
That
talk?
would be me.
There she is. There she is.
Okay.
And so Dorothy brought up, Missy, a deadline for needing the room stuff, and that we should have some idea of telling people when they need to get their information, when they need to sign up.
And I'll try to have that by the beginning of next week.
Okay.
I'm going to start trying later today, but I leave for Minnesota on Friday.
And you're coming back.
On Monday.
Okay.
On Monday. So
Okey-doke.
I will be back.
All right. We won't fret. It'll be okay. Good. All right. So if we have this many people, did anybody have to make incredibly special arrangements to meet at this time?
No.
Yes.
No,
No,
Who said yes?
I did.
Yes, Dave says you couldn't meet that Wednesdays were very bad for you.
Yes, I have appointments usually, but I've managed to get you squeezed in.
Okay. Okay. I will be, I'll look at your lists because you all told me when you couldn't meet. So I'll offer you some choices. Any other ideas? No. Okay. So that's for the meeting. We'll have a general meeting. Should we, if we're going to go in November to our trip, and I know we probably don't want to meet in December. Do we want to meet in December? If it's early in the month, it won't be a big deal. No, says Dave, no.
Well, that first week would work out fine to me.
Yeah, that's, I think, the good reason for doing it the first week of the month. Okay, I'm going to try to look for a, would it be, is that me? Echoing? No, good. If we met the first week of the month, is that okay? Can anybody not do it on the first week of the month?
let's call it the first Wednesday of the month.
Well, that's
Because it's not always a full week.
oh, yes. That's
Yeah.
what I meant. That's what I meant. It's just to pick the first. Yeah. Dave can't meet on Wednesdays. Wednesdays are hard for Dave, but I will, let me see what I can do for negotiation for what other people have said they will or won't do. You can meet other days, not like some of you that can't meet on Monday and Tuesday, Dorothy. So,
Right.
yeah. So there you go. I know people have all kinds of reasons they can't do it, but I think it's good. Maybe, and if you can't do it, then we maybe need to. Usually, there's an officer who's from that school, so there's always that possibility that you've got backup. The reason I want to pick a time for a general meeting is that Arohi will furnish us a 20-minute Zoom speaker, and this will be a Zoom meeting, a general meeting for everybody. And I think we haven't had a general meeting this year, have we? Did we have one earlier, Ted?
We
We have
did.
one in the spring.
Yeah.
Was that for everybody, or we announced officers, but was that an everybody meeting?
Let me look and see.
Yeah, but now I can't remember what the topic was, but we did have it.
Yes, you had, it was a speaker about aging. Skinner, his name was it?
Skipper.
Yes.
Skipper, sorry.
Antonio
Yeah.
Skipper.
Yeah, he was
Okay.
a gerontologist.
Yes.
professor.
Okay, so we have had a meeting, a general meeting, and it was a Zoom meeting this year. Okay, good. And then we'll arrange one for the spring. Okay, good. The other thing, and Missy and I were talking about having Zoom programming, one of the things that has come up and that Carol has mentioned to the group is that putting something on the website, if it's not ours, you have to get permission to do that. You can put links up, but it would be nice to be able to have, a little video ready to go, like YouTube. Talking about how to pick a retirement place, a retirement village. If you're going to move, what are my options as I age? And we thought about the possibility of doing that as a panel discussion, and then recording that and having it available for people. Does that sound appealing to anyone? Not moving, but just hearing about it.
Yeah, sounds great.
Sure.
Sure.
I mean, you can't hear enough about that. I don't want to talk about benefits. Good God, you got that covered here from what I've read from the minutes. But if we could talk about issues that are coming up, and the nice thing about retirement homes for the younger faculty among us, the younger retirees may have to move a parent into one. And so it becomes how do you choose one? What do you look for? And it's very regional, and information for Atlanta may not work for Valdosta, but you sure don't need California information or New York information. So it might have a place.
Did we not have somebody at one time? His name was Jeff something.
Mm-hmm.
And he talked to our group, and he talked somewhat on this topic of helping people make decisions based on what they were looking for in a retirement community.
Yes,
We did.
And I found his talk very intriguing, I guess for a number of reasons. He talked about the fact that his services were free of charge. And that he had people working for him, and I'm not sure, and I think we asked him too, how he was able to support what he was doing. And he told us, but I don't remember. But it was somewhere along that vein.
I started looking, and I just started with Dr. Google and went through the 10 things to look for in choosing a retirement home. And I came up with a list of 10, a list of 12, a list of 9, 8, whatever. And they were different places. And some of the ones that I've found the most interesting is how to evaluate a place if you're looking at it. That was one by an RN looking for a place for a parent, and her views on what to look for and how to get information that wasn't in the brochure were very interesting. Going to a place at feeding time so that you could see what people are actually eating and that sort of thing. Also, I went with my husband to a IEEE meeting that a fellow talked to us about retirement homes and what a great investment they were, because you build them and you buy into helping build this thing, and it makes a good amount of money, and then you can sell it. And you say, oh my God, what does that mean? So when we go look at a nice new retirement home for grandma, are we planning on her not lasting long enough that it's going to turn over, get sold, and then there'll be a new staff? So there's some seamy underworld things you need to know about these places that are not just from a person coming to talk to you about someplace. Here's what we run, and this is how we do it. It's complicated. So just saying, I have, I overdid it, and I've got, I can't remember, 30 pages of links and stuff that I saved. Okay, Dave, thank you for coming. David, thank you. Anyway, it's a good topic. I think it's an excellent topic.
Mm-hmm.
Any other topics you think might be good that you haven't seen stuff on? You can be thinking about it.
Yeah.
We have 1 minute left. Look, we did it in an hour, and you all Very helpful. Thank you.
Good.
Any comments for me? Except that you thought it was a swell meeting, and Missy?
Yes, thank you so much for getting us going.
Our pleasure, and so nice to see so many of you here. It was terrific, and I think this is going to work, especially if we can find a good time to meet. And
Right.
good. All right. See you. You're off the
Okay.
hook. Thank you. Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
thank
Bye.
you.
Done.